E aí galera do reino, estamos aqui com The Stanley Parable, um joguinho de um cara que tá no escritório e começa a escutar umas vozezinhas na cabeça porque ele tá ficando meio doido. E acontece muita coisa, vamos iniciar o jogo pra lá, sabe aí.
In a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was
Não,
simple.
427.
He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in.
É tipo uma
As though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy. And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very
quarentena, gente, a quarentena.
Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
Agora a gente pode pegar, levantar da cadeira e sair, porque é o que a voz está mandando. Ou a gente pode fazer algo que a voz não quer, que é... Eu consigo clicar em alguma coisa? Não consigo pular. Não, tá bom, a gente sai.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Opa, tem um computador ligado aqui. Tá, eu desliguei. Tá, eu tenho que ir na sala de reunião, né? 430, 37. E uma porta tá aberta. Opa, mais um computador. Opa, mais um. Username, access. Tá. Aqui também não. Nada aqui também. Vamos lá. Nada. Que folhinha bonitinha, né? Se você perceber, ela faz uma volta assim, porque é o número de ouro. É uma coisa assim, uma numeração que a natureza segue.
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Sou vida louca, eu vou à direita.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Eu tenho um computadorzinho ali. Eu acho que deve ter uma conquista que deve ser desligar todos os computadores, mas...
Ah, yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room. Stanley simply stood here, drinking it all in. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Esquerda, né? Eu não vou na esquerda. Se bem que as duas são esquerda.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her.
Será que eu consigo morrer?
This is it, Stanley. Your chance to... But in his eagerness to prove that he is in control of the story and no one gets to tell him what to do, Stanley leapt from the platform and plunged to his death. Good job, Stanley. Everyone thinks you are very powerful.
Ai, ai, ok. Tudo bem. Tá, vamos seguir o que
All of
ele
his
pediu, né?
co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
Tá,
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
ele pediu agora pra gente ir novamente pra sala de reunião.
When
Que
Stanley
é
came to
a
a set of
esquerda.
2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Tá vendo? Aqui também tem. Nossa, só tem esses 4 quadros no rolê todo.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Tá, vamos ver se a gente acha o Stanley aqui. Ah não. Tá, ok. No slides, shorts and slides. Jogue alguma coisa no lixo de ideias. Tá, vamos seguir.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Bom, vamos subir pro escritório do chefinho. Provavelmente é esse. Deixa eu ver se essa sala aqui tá aberta. Não, banheiro tá aberto não. Acredito que seja esse.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this, what dark secret was being held from him. What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this.
Tá bom. Então a gente procura em algum lugar.
Stanley just sat around twiddling his thumbs. Trying to input anything on the device was useless, since he could never possibly know that the combination was 2845.
Mas eu não sei como que eu vou colocar. Eu tô tentando procurar alguma coisa que me diga que essa é a senha.
But it turns out that the panel's emergency override kicked in, and the door just opened all by itself. And Stanley got the hell along with the story. Well, whoop-de-doo.
Não coloquei a senha. Ah, abriu essa. Ok. Eu coloquei a senha, não foi? Coloquei. Sei lá. Ok. Vamos aqui, né? Acredito que eu tenho que apertar o botão para descer. Opa, tá bom.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
Ok. Será que tem como eu descer mais? Não. Opa. Ah não, achei que era uma escada.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Então tá bom.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
Viu? Calma. Abriu uma porta? Abriu. Deixa eu tentar apertar de novo o botão. Nada. Só posso ver câmeras. Nada.
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
Qual que era do Stanley? 245 agora eu não tenho como saber. Vamos apertar? Ah, tem. Tá. Não é 4-2. Nossa. Você viu que ele tá despedido. 4-2-7. Acho que era 4-2-7, né? Ah, acho que era aquela ali que a gente trabalhava, mas tudo bem. Acho que é esse que a gente vai agora.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No, he refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never! It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof, the heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
Provavelmente eu tenho que ir lá. Mas deixa eu ver aqui. Nada? Tá bom. Deixa eu subir essa escada. Ai, eu sou curioso. vamos pelo menos fazer o final normal. O final principal de seguir a historinha. Não preciso apertar esse botão.
And when at last he found the source of the room's power, he knew it was his duty, his obligation, to put an end to this horrible place and to everything it stood for.
E agora?
Blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over?
Tá acabado?
Yes.
Sim.
He had won. He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him, for it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door. Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
Mas... Ok, já zerou o jogo. E é isso. Acabou o jogo. Gente, é isso. Espero que tenha gostado. Se tiver gostado, deixe seu like, se inscreva no canal. Não, o jogo ainda não acabou. Porque tem muitas outras possibilidades. Mas...
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
Acho que é isso. Por
Stanley
enquanto,
decided to go to the meeting room.
não
Perhaps
consigo
he had
fazer mais
simply missed
nada
a memo.
que isso. Mas é isso, galera. Eu vou deixar por aqui. Se tiverem gostado e quiserem mais finais desses, deixe seu like, se inscrevam no canal, comentem o que querem mais. E é isso. Animal, falou!